freaky story.
This here's a true story. Happened to a friend of mine, Willie the Worm. You see, when it comes to being a no-good, double-crossing thief even other thieves hate, Willie takes the cake. Not to mention the china, the silverware, and anything else he can lay his hands on. But what he did to his partner, Jelly Roll Gerald, that was the worst. See, Willie and Gerald was doing a museum heist, one of them highfalutin capers planned to the nth degree. This was getting into the museum at night when the museum is closed and there ain't no guard. You can't get caught if there ain't no guard, right? Wrong. You see, all is going according to Hoyle till the alarm goes. The guys scramble, trying to get out of there before the cops showed up. Now Jelly Roll Gerald, he gets caught in a heat vent, stuck like a beluga whale in a sardine can. Suddenly, Willie sees an opportunity to up his share of the haul from 50% to 100%. If the cops grab his partner in crime, all the loot is his. He amscrays out of there. But later, on the radio, the police report that Gerald went and had himself a heart attack, which is what 42 years of eating nothing but fudge and aerosol cheese will do to you. So Willie's in mourning for about 2 seconds. You see, Willie needs a place to stash the swag until the heat's off. So at Gerald's funeral, he slips the entire haul into Gerald's jumbo-sized coffin. Then all he has to do is wait. Easy, right? But once again, wrong. You see, this is when the phone calls start. Now, the first one happens in the middle of a big thunderstorm that's knocking down power lines everywhere and making Willie's apartment darker than my ex-wife's heart. Suddenly, the phone rings and Willie picked it up. All he hears is a creepy, croaky voice saying, "Willie, I know what you did." Then the line goes dead. Willie starts to sweat a little and phones the operator. Then he gets even sweatier when the operator can't trace the call. But there was a call, a real call. It's not Willie having delusions. Or was he? Even worse, the calls keep coming, not just at his apartment, but on his cell phone, at the diner, the track, the pool hall, everywhere. And every time it's exactly the same. "Willie, I know what you did." This whole situation is eating at Willie's gut. He's grown an ulcer the size of a rock. That's Alcatraz we're referring to. And Willie starts to think, what if this jamuck saw Willie at the funeral and knows where the loot is buried? What if this guy's already dug it up? Now that'd be a grave problem. Willie has to make sure his investment is safe. Time to shovel off to the cemetery. When he gets there, a sudden flash of lightning illuminates the graveyard, and Willie's heart stops. The storm knocked the telephone line directly on top of Gerald's grave. Like, was this a clue? Were the spirits of the hoodlums trying to tell him something? Did all those calls come directly from his expired ex-partner? And if so, what kind of long-distance plan did Gerald have to be making so many calls from heaven? On second thought, Willie wouldn't be calling from heaven. He'd be calling from... "Hello," he says when his cell phone rings. Guess who? Again, it's... "Willie, I know what you did." Okay, so Willie's scared for a minute, but he's a practical joke. He knows it can't be Gerald, right? So he ups and gets tough. "You're not scaring me, whoever you are," he screams. "Stop wasting my time. Call someone else for a change." And with that, Willie begins to dig up Gerald's coffin to make sure that his worst nightmare ain't happening, and also to check that his retirement fund is still safe. And then his cell phone rings again. It can't be Gerald, because he's staring at Gerald, and Gerald's just laying there, stiff as a stiff. And this time, the voice says, "Willie, you were right. I called someone else." And suddenly, Willie is blinded by a bunch of powerful lights. Everywhere he looks, police cars are pulling up around him, and he's got all the evidence they need to convict him right in his hands. And he's being placed under arrest for the museum heist. All he can hear is ghoulish laughter coming out of his cell phone. Or is it coming out of Gerald's grave? That was a true story. Happened to a friend of mine, Willie the Worm. The only guy I know who went directly from digging dirt in the graveyard to pounding rocks in a prison yard.